Welcome to If You Haven't Been There podcast with your host, Devan-Lepinski. All right, I'm Devan-Lepinski, and this is If You Haven't Been There podcast, and I have a guest today, and her name is Shelby Brookie. How are you doing, Shelby?
I am awesome, Devin. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. This is awesome because you are pretty much the inspiration behind this podcast, or like a huge part of it, because of when I was in Peru, I got to talk to you. And then we ended up meeting up after when I got home, and we went out and had a dinner, and we got all freaked out about podcasts and making videos and traveling and doing things and like trying to document it. And you were like, you could just do a podcast. And I was like, fuck, maybe I could. And here I am doing one.
Here we are. I don't even really remember how we reconnected when you were in Peru. Was it like a Facebook message or... I can't remember. I know that we talked for like 2 hours while it was like the middle of the night in Peru.
Yeah, it was the day before I went to Machu Picchu, and it was, I don't know, I was just surprised to be talking to you. Like, I stayed up late that night. I had to go catch a train in the morning and all this stuff, and it was like just a great conversation. There's something to be said about being into the same stuff.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Like-minded.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how are you doing? And what have you been up to?
I've been up to some craziness. You know that. I've traveled quite a bit, but I mostly do big hikes and stuff.
Yeah, I want to hear about your hike that you just had. That is like one of the reasons you're here. And you've inspired me yesterday. Like, basically, I bought a brand new pair of shoes, and I see that you've gone on this kick-ass hike, and you're going to tell me about it. But I went on a quick 12-mile hike for myself, which is, quick, but it was like under 3 hours, and I hauled ass, and I was like fucking breaking in these shoes, and I got a blister and yada, 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 but I'm nowhere near what you were doing, but I was still just enjoying the trail, and that is like a huge deal when you're out there and you're like, what the fuck? You just go.
You just go.
It's awesome. So tell me about your trip a little bit.
I just did a nearly 70-mile backpack trip into the Bob.
70 miles.
70 miles.
Dude.
Biggest hike I've ever done in my life. I've never backpacked. I've never stayed on a trail. I've always just done quick day hikes. I think the biggest hike I've done before that was like a 16-mile hike just outside of Glacier. So
16 miles?
16 miles, yeah. So it was an epic feat for me. I've been hiking for months, but nothing close to what I just did.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how did you feel going into that?
Oh, I was so scared. I was not scared of like bears or predators or anything like that. I was more afraid of, am I actually going to be able to make it?
Right? Stamina, like rolled ankle, anything that could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Impassable river, like what the fuck? So where did you start?
So we started at Benchmark, which is north of Augusta,
nice.
Montana.
I'm familiar.
You're very familiar.
Yeah. No, I'm picturing it in my head. And for the viewers, this is in Montana on the Rocky Mountain front. Near Augusta, Montana.
Yeah. So a large chunk of the trail that we did is on the Continental Divide, which is from Canada to Mexico. So it's a pretty popular trail in parts, but there's a lot of this trail that is remote because once you get off of the Divide trail to do the loop that we did, you might not see a person for 3-4 days. So it's epic.
Yeah. So how long before you seen a person, or... were they out and
day
about?
One, we probably passed 20 people, lots of pack people going in there because there's
with
outfitters.
Horses?
Yeah, mules, horses, they're packing in people's tents, they're packing in people's food, clothes, you name it. And then there's people riding behind them on horses and living the luxurious life while someone's slaving away carrying their stuff in. But there's also people who just have their stuff packed in and then they hike behind the outfitters. So there's 2, 3, 4 ways to get into the Bob, and one is to hike it, whether it's someone pack your stuff in or you pack yourself in, or you have someone pack your stuff in and you ride in on a horse, you fly in. There's not a lot of ways to get into the Bob. You can't drive in. There's no motorized vehicles.
Nothing easy or cheap.
Nothing easy or
Really?
cheap. Yeah, no. No.
But solid adventure, and that's probably the best part about it, huh?
Yeah, living on the edge. Like I said, it's very remote, so you don't really know what's gonna happen.
So what happened day one then?
Day one.
So you're leaving Benchmark Airport Trailhead, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
the
there is an
Sun-
airport. Yeah, it's on the Sun River.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there is an airport. It's not like, for people who are listening to this, it's not like an airport where there's going to be like buildings around. It's very remote. It's in the middle of the mountains. It's just a field. I don't even know that there's a pad port. I think that they land in a field.
It's just like a bushcraft airport for like
Yeah,
an
like
Alaskan
Alaska.
style.
Yeah.
For like
Yeah.
specialty planes only. You're not landing a jet.
No.
Or, I mean, I have no idea, honestly.
I don't imagine them being able to even land a jet there, but I could see like firefighting planes maybe going in and
Some
out of
helicopters.
there. Helicopters, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how many miles did you do on day one?
Day one, if you would have told me at mile 1 we were at mile 5, I would have believed you.
What?
Because this is seriously the biggest packing trip I've ever been on. I've done, like I said, day trips. So I just throw in a backpack usually. I've packed a bit with like just throwing weight in a pack and going up a mountain, but I've never had to stay the night on a trail. I've never actually had to prepare for a third of my body weight being in a pack.
Did you like that?
Being
No. Not the pack. Did
Yeah.
you like the fact of waking up in the morning and carrying on and, you know,
Yeah,
packing again and being
well-
like, I'm moving by my feet and I'm going to be there. We're going deeper.
If I'm
Like,
being honest with you,
of a day into this shit.
yeah, day 1 I was miserable because I had my pack fitted. I had a lot of help getting my pack fitted before I left, but I didn't have someone look through my pack and make sure that I had it adjusted properly when I got on the trail.
Yeah, you got to have a travel buddy for that. Like,
Yes.
help you out.
Thankfully, the people that I was hiking with are locals. They've packed a little bit. They're really big into hunting. So I would say the first day we stopped like 5 times to try to adjust my pack. And it wasn't because I was complaining. I made a rule for myself that I wasn't going to complain. They just could probably tell by the look on my face that like I was struggling. So they stopped, and I have an on the fly pack so you can just quickly adjust your frame to the right height and stuff. And
Yeah.
we adjusted it a few times and kept carrying on, and I was miserable. Like my hips hurt. I just
This is
wasn't
day
used to-
one.
This is day 1. I was absolutely miserable day 1. I really wasn't sure, like maybe I might have to turn around, but I didn't have that mindset. Like part of me was like, there's no way I'm going to turn around, but there's no way I'm going to continue.
No shit. So,
yeah.
um,
This is seriously day 1. We haven't even ate dinner yet. We left really late that morning because I just came from that big music festival.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I left the music festival at midnight. I went to bed at 2 and I got up at 4 to drive back to town to meet my friends.
oof.
And then we took off at about 10 in the morning. We were already on our way to the Bob. So
That's a hell of a way to start a
yeah.
trip.
So I
Sounds
start
about like
this
me.
trip. Yeah, I start this trip tired. I haven't probably slept good enough for like a weekend. I haven't ate well. Haven't been hydrated well. I tried my best, but like we just came from a music festival.
Did you do some partying at the music
Not
festival?
really. No, I wasn't too wild. I'm pretty good.
But
I
yeah,
was
even
preparing
just a little
myself.
bit. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want to dehydrate, and alcohol and stuff dehydrates you. So you're
Yeah.
like, especially going into something like that, you're gonna want to be on your A game, and you're like, fuck it, I'll go in tired.
Yeah, well, I think I slept more on the pack trip than I have in months. I
Good.
got full night's sleep. I got like 12
Good,
hours of sleep
solid
every
sleep.
night.
Where you like close your eyes and you wake up and you're like, holy fuck, I actually just slept. I
Yeah.
just gotta pee really bad.
Yeah. So night 1, I went to bed and I never sleep on my stomach, but I woke up in like, I'm like, maybe I might drown in my drool tonight if I don't roll over, because there was so much drool because I was so tired. And I never drool, but I was so tired. I was like, maybe this is like the death drools. I might die tonight in my sleep. But
That's awesome. You're
Yeah.
just like drooling. I catch myself from time to time drooling. I'm like, what the fuck? I must have been in a deep sleep. And if you are, then you're going to either snore or drool or both. Or you ever wake yourself up like snoring? Like, like
yeah,
what
you're
the
like, what
fuck?
just crawled around me and made that noise? Yes.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it was myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. We woke up the next morning though, and I was just expecting to be so sore, and I wasn't. I wasn't like extremely sore. I mean, like I had a little bit of soreness, but I was just like, okay, we might be able to do this today. Got up, and my friends were just I watched them how they pack their packs, and they talked to me about like, make sure you get it above your hips really well and get it tight. And so,
Oh yeah, it still gets into our like back fat rolls and shit.
it gets into your
It
like
hurts.
sciatic nerve.
Dude.
And it like the first hour of that day, it was like driving me nuts. I'm like, my legs are going numb. But finally it just clicked. Like I got my pack to where it was supposed to be. And I was just like, we could do this all day. We could hike all day.
Yes.
We could hike all night.
Those are growing pains. You're
Those
like,
were growing.
fuck. You never really get into anything like that, whether it be a backpack trip, a travel trip, or anything like that, until you'll find a groove.
Yeah.
And maybe something like that's a little more rushed, but like international travel, it takes a few days to even a week to be like, holy fuck, here's my groove. I've packed the pack multiple times. I'm in this motel room, just an example. I will pack this pack 2 or 3 times, so it's like muscle memory. I'm like, I know exactly how to do this. I know what goes where. I know I'm not missing anything. And that's just how I train myself before a trip. And you literally have to learn that on the trail with something like what you're doing in this Bob Marshall Wilderness trip.
I'm so happy that you brought that up because the second day is kind of where it gets real. Like, okay, we're actually eating on the trail. Like I didn't get to stop and get a coffee and food on my way out. It was the first time that like you don't really want to stop when you've got a pack on. You want to keep the momentum going. So you got to figure out how to conveniently pack your snacks. And you learn that pretty quick because when you have to take your pack off and remove your sleeping bag and your tent to get to your snacks, it's not a good experience. So
no, you definitely learn that shit. You're like, okay, what do I not
tomorrow
need?
I'm not doing that.
So when I pack a pack like that, when I'm in the backcountry or doing something like that, the sleeping system usually goes absolutely on the fucking bottom because that's the last thing I'm going to need. And then as you go up, food you're not going to eat, fucking coffee, stuff like this that you don't need. Keep your heavies in the middle, kind of centrally located. I don't know what you learned, but what works best for you. And it's been a long time since I've got to do it. But I would always keep like the tent up top with like a raincoat over the tent in case any water got in there. And so the raincoat was available or a poof coat. And then, like you said, the snacks up towards the top in your pack up top, headlamps, toilet paper, shit like that. And then I would set up my tent and then I would just gradually work my way through the bottom of the pack. And the last thing to go out would be, it'd be the sleeping pad and then the sleeping bag. And then I'd zip that fucker up because of mosquitoes, crawl in and you get efficient, don't you?
You get efficient quick.
Yeah.
You learn very quickly because the momentum, once you lose it, it's like, it's a struggle to get going back up again once you've slowed down on the trail. You stop to have a snack. If you have to take your whole pack off, it's like relearning how to walk again.
Yeah, you're like I just want to sit.
I packed 40 pounds in, like pretty much. And I mean, by the time I came out, I probably only had like 22 pounds in my pack because I'm a tank and I ate so much food.
Yeah, but how much are you burning? How many calories?
I came back heavier. I came back 2 pounds heavier and I am muscly.
Yes. Dude, what a great hike.
Yeah.
So
my pack was lighter.
Really?
I wasn't.
No, I don't believe it.
It was so good. It was such a good time once I finally figured out what to do as far as where to put my pack and where to put the stuff in my pack.
What were you eating on this trip?
Mountain House dehydrated meals and jerky.
Really? What was your favorite one?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I don't usually eat sweet stuff in the morning. I definitely don't even eat breakfast usually.
Yeah.
So I usually go for like a protein drink or something.
But that's in our day-to-day.
That's our day-to-day life. But
you're
when
like
you're
working
on
your
a trail,
ass
you wake up hungry.
Yes.
So I woke up and I was grabbing granola. Like these, they're just like a wet. They're dehydrated.
Yes.
But you add the water to them, and they say to add cold water, but I don't recommend. We always did hot, and it was literally the best thing ever. It was kind of like oatmeal, but with berries and stuff.
What's
in
crazy
it.
is like
So
coffee and that stuff in the morning. It almost is like not even just eating it, like the flavor or anything. It just makes you happy.
we went straight for pre-workout.
Really?
Yeah.
In the morning?
Mountain
You
Ops
didn't-
pre-workout.
Did you not take any coffee?
No.
I love
In
coffee.
my day-to-day, I don't really drink much coffee. I say that as I'm like pounding caffeine, but
The caffeine, but some people hate coffee.
I love coffee. I just don't do it much. So I wasn't gonna like die out there on the trail without coffee, but I would have definitely struggled without some pre-workout. That's for sure.
Yeah.
2 scoops.
Oh,
was a
that'll get the
2
blood
scoop kinda
flowing.
day,
You do
yeah.
a few burpees and some coffee, or not coffee, but some pre-workout, or
Yeah.
that Mountain Ops Ignite is like a,
That's what we were drinking. The
okay,
apple.
the Ignite.
So awesome.
Nice.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does get you fired up. Sometimes if you're not ready for it, you're like, holy shit, I'm not ready for this. You got to get your blood flowing
It was good.
in order for it to like work properly and not make you sick.
It did, and it didn't make us like crash out halfway through the day. It just kind of felt like it just kept us going.
Yeah.
And liquid IVs. We really survived on liquid IVs.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you already answer this? But how many miles on average were you doing a day?
Average about 10 to 11. Our biggest day was I think about 13 and a half miles.
Did that kick your ass?
The 13 and a half mile day did kind of kick our asses.
What day was that?
The 4th day.
4th day. Fuck, man.
No.
You were on a hike.
Yeah, 5th day.
For 6 days.
5th day.
So you had to make up some time,
Yeah.
did you not?
Oh,
Or-
well, we could have. So we budgeted 7 days to be in the Bob. But we kind of realized, like, after we got into the groove, after day 1, we could really blaze through this stuff. So we kind of just thought it out. We're like, we should just have a day recovery.
Yes.
Let's have Sunday be our
To
day
chill.
off. We will come out
in
of
the
the
back
Bob.
country.
No. So our plan was to come out Sunday,
Yes.
like midday Sunday. But we started to realize as things progressed, like we could get out of here at least a day earlier, maybe even a day and a half earlier. If we
Yeah.
if we wanted to suffer, we could have probably put in 15-mile days, but we love ourselves and we want to continue hiking. We don't want to hate hiking. So we realized it would just be best if we took the first few days pretty easy, which were the 10-miler days. And then the day before we came out, we put in a big day because we're like, let's just have Sunday off. Let's get back to the real world, have Sunday off, catch up, because we all go back to work Monday.
And this was a through hike? Or no, you go hike in or hike back? Or did you
This
do
is
a
a
loop? Okay,
Yeah, this is a loop. So you take Benchmark. There's a stretch on Benchmark that is, I don't really know the trail names.
It's all right.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know the trail names, but there's a good stretch. It's like 5 miles if you've ever been in. You get to like this bridge and you go left if you want to do a loop and you come back on the right side of the bridge, and from the bridge back and from the trailhead to the bridge, that stretch you're going to do twice if you do the loop. So, and I don't recommend doing the loop if you're going alone because like I said, there were moments out there where it was super remote. We didn't see people for like 2-3 days.
Really?
Yeah. The first day, like I said, we passed mules and people like crazy. Second
yeah,
day,
it's like a common part of the trail.
Yeah, that's where people haven't given up yet.
Yeah.
Either that, like
You gotta go
maybe a
little
lot of the
deeper
people that
to see the
maybe the
hardcore.
people that are coming back are giving up already. I don't know. We talked to a few people. It seemed like a lot of people had a good time in there, but it's really common to see people at the head because they're fresh and maybe they just go in for part of it. You don't have to go all the way into the wall like we did. But once you get to the wall and you go down on the loop that we did, you might not see someone for days.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome.
Isn't
Absolutely.
that the best part?
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you do see them, you kind of appreciate seeing them, you know? I would
Yeah.
think. I don't know.
Yeah.
So how
absolutely.
far is the Chinese Wall in there? It's an epic
Oh
spot
my
in
gosh.
Montana.
I
I
would
have never
say-
seen it.
I think the Chinese Wall is 25 miles in, almost 30 miles in.
So 2 days.
Yeah, we were there at
Day 3.
we
I don't
could
know.
see-
I'm just saying.
No, you're good. We could see the wall at day 2 when we got to our campsite.
Okay.
And you can't camp like within a certain distance of the wall, so we had to like stop for the night there. And
the
we just
hell is
kinda
that
hang-
shit?
You can't sleep like super close to the wall because people come in like Nat Geo style and take pictures, and they don't want to see Devan's tent on the wall. So
I got that.
yeah, they don't want to have the pollution that
Hiker pollution.
hiker pollution, eyeball pollution, eyesore, whatever you want to call it. They don't want to have that in the pictures of the wall.
Ever. Wow.
No,
I did not know
no.
that about
Yeah,
the
same-
Chinese Wall. You can't
Yeah, there's
just
a
pitch your tent there.
no, and there's a few places on the trail where it's like no camping within 500 feet of this bridge because it's like a famous bridge. They don't want you to have your tent by it, so you ruin someone's pictures. So
Fuck. They should do that a lot more in a lot of other places.
yes,
Don't you think?
yeah.
I mean, they should have designated spots and be like, you know what, only 5 people at a time. God
I'd
damn
be
it.
lying if I said I didn't want to stay by the wall, though. It's so gorgeous.
You know
I
what?
can't even imagine like going to bed there, eating my dinner, going to bed, and waking up there to eat my breakfast would be awesome. But
Let's break the rules let's hike back in there, and then we can just bivy sack it right next to the wall, and nobody ever
leave
fucking see you.
Leave it to you to think about that. I mean, I think we all were about day 2. We're like, why don't we just go all the way to the wall? Who's gonna stop us? Because there's no one out there. What's
But there
Ranger
might
Rick
be.
gonna come up and tell me to go home?
Yeah.
Walk home.
Where are you parked?
We'll fly
what is
you
your
home.
name? What is your name? I want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like an epic journey. And
we ran into some people too in there that weren't doing too hot.
really? Mm-hmm. Like what? What were they doing?
We ran into this girl who, on the bottom side of the wall, just put this into perspective. I would say we were like 2 miles from the wall, and the wall's a pretty good trek. It was all downhill for us because we're headed north, and this girl was heading south from Canada.
Okay.
And she probably had, maybe even more, almost 3 miles. I don't know. She had a ways to go to get to even the wall. And she was in the bottom of this, like, it's like a creek. And she came over the hill and came into the creek where we were grabbing water because we didn't know where the next water spot was, because it's just the time of the year where things start to dry up. Even though you have a map, you want to just be cautious and make sure you have enough water. But she came up to us, kind of stumbled into us. Super cool girl. Very cool. And she was just talking about how her friends were just down the trail a little ways from her. And she explained, who they were. And we'd passed them the day before. 24 hours earlier. Almost 24 hours early.
Were they ahead of her?
They were ahead of her. Yeah. They all had an accent. And
she's obviously not a native Montanan, or
no,
is she native?
No. She's French Canadian.
Oh, okay.
So she had this very sweet accent, and she had told us about her friends being up the trail a little ways before her, and she kind of explained them, and all I could think was, "Holy shit, those guys were literally a day ahead of you." And she was telling us about how her feet hurt, and she told them to go on ahead of her, and she had planned on doing the Montana stretch of the CDT.
Isn't that fucking nuts? Why would you split up with your friend in a situation like that? I understand if maybe there's a deadline, but you don't leave one person.
Sure, yeah. So she planned on doing the Montana CDT with them, and they wanted to do the full CDT. And she's like, "Don't let me hold you back. My feet hurt. I'm going through hell. I'm getting blisters on my feet. Please go on before me." I think that they were friends, but like not super close friends, kind of like hiker friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, well, we're going to do it this time, and you're going to do it that time too. Like let's
friends
meet
are
and
ahead."
start together." But eventually they would have parted directions either way. So
it doesn't sound like she prepared very well for this. She's in over her feet.
She had
over her head.
Oh yeah, in over her head. She had very nice shoes on. I would say the shoes she was wearing were very expensive, but they were broken down, not broken in.
What do you mean by that?
So when you go on a hike, you don't want to be wearing shoes that are too broken in.
Yeah.
Like they're falling apart.
Yeah.
That's what she had going on. And she admitted, she's like, I knew, like before I started this hike, like I these are my most comfy shoes. And at some point they were going to start to fall apart on me.
What the fuck?
So,
well, I don't want to be bashing on her because yesterday
No.
I just hiked 12.3 miles in brand new fucking shoes. I probably only had like a mile on them completely because I bought them last week, Thursday night, I think. And okay, I'm like, fucking Sunday, let's go on a goddamn hike. And that's what I did. And I loved the hike, but mile 8, I was like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
Dude,
I took a risk with my shoes, dude, on this hike. I took the biggest risk ever.
I think, yeah, you're a risk taker.
I'm a huge risk taker. The shoes that I wore I bought them months ago, and I've let them sit in my closet for pretty much the entire time I've had them.
So you had time.
I've had time.
You're irresponsible risk taker.
I am an irresponsible risk taker, but my mindset was like, I could probably get these things broken in. I wore them to work throughout the whole week before I left, and then I wore them the entire weekend at the festival, and I put like 30 miles on at the festival. So I felt comfortable knowing like, okay, just in case, I'll take my regular hiking shoes to the festival and stuff with me.
Yeah.
Just in case these shoes get painful, and I'll wear the normal shoes I typically would wear if these are uncomfortable after a couple days. But I didn't take them on the hike with me.
Oh, I was going to say.
There was no way I was carrying extra weight. I just took them to the festival in case like I started feeling like pinching in hot spots in my shoes. But I never felt that the whole weekend. So I was like, you know what?
So you did way better than I did.
Yeah, I didn't hike 14. How many miles? 13 miles?
12.3.
12.3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't just do that
I got
all
a
in one
blister.
day. I gave myself a little chance to sit down here and there with them
Yeah.
on.
Did you get any blisters?
I did get some blisters.
Did they still hurt?
No, not really. No.
Really? So
there's
hope.
like one between my toes, and everyone in our group got blisters. It's kind of inevitable because the dirt is so fine out there.
Yeah.
and you're going through little moisture spots and stuff. My shoes were not waterproof, but they
wick water.
They wick water. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So the girl, back to the girl. That girl, so nice. She did not complain one time really about her feet hurting. She's just like, yes, I just let my friends go ahead of me. I didn't want to hold them back. I know that I'm hiking a little bit slower.
Like a lot slower, like 24 fucking hours slower.
24 fucking hours slower. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not funny, dude. It was so scary.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, my
Yes.
friends are priors. Like, they're like, tell me, how bad could it possibly be? Do you need any help? Should we check out your feet? I should advise, my friends are, one's a sheriff's deputy and the other one's a nurse practitioner. So of course they're like the helpful people. And she's like, you want to see? I'll show you. And she like took her shoes off, and I was just like, there's no way you're making it out of here, please.
Oh, were they fucked?
They were fucked, dude. It was so sad. Like, blisters had formed and popped, and new blisters had come in underneath them, and it was like layers.
That's the nightmare you could end up living.
That's
Is this what you were fearing?
This is what I was fearing.
Yeah,
yes.
Before you go out?
Yes, but she was still so sweet and like, yeah,
you know what?
I'm not prone to blisters. I've never really had blisters before. This is like the worst I've ever seen my feet, but like, I'll be okay. I'll make it. I'll be okay. And my friends were like, can we moleskin you? And she's like, you would do that? So I took care of her feet and stuff, and I just really hope she made it out. She
had a good attitude.
She did. She was probably hiking half a mile an hour, and she still had 30 miles to go to get to civilization.
Take your time, hon. Take your time.
I was so scared for her. I really hope she made it out.
Oh, fuck.
I would be so...
you should have got her contact information.
I got her name. I'm not going to like name drop her.
That's fine.
But I don't...
I got one viewer, so we're good. Yeah.
Yes. I did get her contact information, but like I'm not her contact information. I got her name, but I didn't get her contact information. So I have like no idea. I've been like checking Instagram, like going to the hashtag CDT, hashtag Continental Divide Trail. I'm not finding anything on her yet. And I haven't heard any news on her yet.
No, she's fine. She made it out. We would know.
I would say we should know by now.
We would know. You would see it.
I would hope so. My God.
We get those all the time, right? Like people missing.
Or
do they go unreported?
Huge, dude. The bob is massive. Like, if she would have went and crawled into her tent and a bear got her, like, we probably wouldn't know for a while. I really hope that didn't happen.
Wow.
That was really morbid. I'm sorry. Very sweet girl. I really hope she made it out okay. But that stuff happens all the time back there.
She had a fucking positive attitude.
Literally
Sounds like she was actually really tough too.
Very tough. Very cute too. Like, just like no fucks to give.
Really?
Like, my feet are fucked, but I'm fine.
She's going to have a hell of a story. She's going to be like, I barely fucking made it out. My feet, they hurt. But
I have permanent nerve damage on the bottom of my feet, but I made it out.
Yes.
God, oh my God.
Insane.
But that shit happens all the time on the CDT.
Yeah.
If you follow people who hike that, you do. You totally do. You'll see that they have to do some crazy stuff to their feet and their body to make sure that they are going to survive on the trail, because it could be weeks. Some of them haven't seen people for weeks. Like when we lived where we used to live, like they'd stop in and we're like some of the first people they'd talk to.
Check it out.
For weeks.
So where you and I met was in Lincoln, Montana, which is on the Continental Divide Trail.
Yeah, gateway community.
Yeah, it is a sweet spot. And honestly, I this is a whole other podcast altogether, but I did couchsurfing.com for quite a few years, and I would host people, and I can spot a Continental Divide hiker from a fucking mile away. And it is like,
they're a special breed.
If they're hitchhiking, I'd pick them up. I'd drive them to wherever the fuck they needed to go. I'd take them all the way to Augusta if they wanted to go to Augusta. I'd let them sleep, shower, do whatever. I'm actually on some YouTube channels for fucking helping people.
You are a trail angel.
I am, not anymore so much, but I mean, I would help anybody. Because not a person hiking the Continental Divide or the Appalachian Trail or the
Pacific Crest
or any fucking trail, or biking across America from east to west or west to east. Those people aren't pieces of shit.
No.
You work your ass off to get to a situation, and that's determination. They have everything they need to just be an absolutely great human being. I trust them. I would leave my house keys and be like, I used to be a drinker, so I'd be like, I'm going to the bar. You guys just shower up, pitch your tent here. You can sleep on the couch, do whatever. I've housed probably 10 to 15 different couch surfers that were Continental Divide. And this started for me back in...
probably about the same time you started hitchhiking.
It started in 2006 or 2005, 2006, where I got my first one.
Yeah.
Right? I got my first one. Right?
That sounds funny.
It does. It sounds
the
terrible.
The first time I
Anyways.
had my hiker.
So
the first hiker I had.
I wasn't even 21.
Yeah.
And the first Continental Divide hiker I ever picked up, I was just going to the store. I used to smoke a lot of weed. And the guy was just standing there, and he looked at us, and he, like, sniffed. Like, he's like, cannabis. I was like, yeah. I was like, and he's like, do you know where I can get some weed? Because it was totally illegal then. And I'm like, yeah. Can you buy us beer? And he's like, yeah. So anyways, we took this guy back to my house, and then we were just partied another house over because that's where the party was. And he was telling us stories that he'd been hiking for, I don't know how long. But he had like a beard and everything. I can't remember his name, but it was so fucking cool. And this was 2006 or so. And he was telling us about mice burrowing in his beard and stuff on the trail and seeing bears. And I was like, fuck. I was like, this guy's living it. And that's when it started for me to start taking in people on the trail or in Lincoln and just helping. And when I basically met you within the year.
Yeah.
Are
you talking about Alaskan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I won't name drop him.
I don't know if we'll name drop. Yeah, he is so cool.
Yeah, he's the man.
He's one of the biggest reasons that I was like, let's do this thing. I'm not going to be scared of the bob. Well, I was still scared, but I'm not going to like say no to doing the bob.
Yeah.
Because if he could do from Canada to Mexico, I can do a 70-mile stretch in my home state.
Right.
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can be capable of anything.
Absolutely.
If you just put your mind to it and you're like, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start doing it, you're like, holy shit, I'm fucking doing it. And then you're like, day one, holy fuck, I don't know how to pack my pack completely, but fucking day two, I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Day
learn.
3, you're really dialed.
Yeah. By the end of it, you're walking out of there like fucking taller, even though you're like hurting.
Dude, I messaged that guy the other day.
Who?
Well, not the other day, but like a month ago.
The Alaskan guy?
Alaskan guy.
Nice.
Yeah. I messaged him and I was like, actually, this is a while back ago, but I was like, I'm really thinking about doing the bob. And he advised, and he's like, just have fun. Yeah. So
I think that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Just do your fucking thing, have fun,
But
even if it's a day hike or a.
I had 2 friends I went with. He did that thing alone.
Yeah, I went hiking the other day alone. I got friends right now bitching because nobody can do anything that they want to do. I'm like, listen, dude.
Nothing's gonna stop you except your mind.
Yeah, you don't have to have somebody holding your fucking hand to go do things that you want to do. I started solo traveling. I was like, dude, nobody's going to live my dream with me.
Yeah.
I have to live my fucking dream. I can't wait. What a shame it would be to sit there and wait for somebody to want to live your dream with you. Like, that's fucking
what a miserable
stupid.
life.
You can't do that. You can't fucking do that, I don't think. But so
well,
let's
I mean,
go
people
back.
do it every day. We just refuse to wait for one person to step to our level. No.
I think by the time you get to the point, you're like, no, that's silly. I'm not waiting for somebody else at all.
No, at some point you're gonna find someone who's on your level, but you don't freaking wait for someone to get to your level. Absolutely not. No. That's just
no. You don't hold up. Live your life.
Yeah,
fucking
absolutely.
Do the things that make you happy, no matter what the fuck it is. Obviously, I'm no expert at that, but it seems to be like it's working out well. Like the trips that I've taken, the things that I've done alone, I'm just like, you know what? The guy bitching because people won't go fucking rafting with him is like honestly waiting for somebody to make him happy.
Okay,
it's like,
but
just go
alone though. I can't imagine.
Shit.
But somehow, if you really want to go rafting, you will find a way to do it. Well, hiking's different. You can go anywhere hiking alone.
They're like, nobody wants to go and do the things I want to do. I'm like, well, go to the place where
they all go.
Where they are.
Yeah.
The fucking river.
Yeah.
If you love the river so much, go to the river. You don't need any of your old friends to do that.
Yeah.
You know, some of them have fallen off and stuff like this, and you just don't need to let anybody else hold you back.
Yeah.
Go find the people that love
find those people.
doing that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If you
The guy
like
could
drinking, you go to the bar. You're
Yeah.
gonna find the people that also like drinking.
fucking misery loves company. And the other,
But there's also an alternative to that.
yeah, you can find
It's similar,
happiness
but it's different.
in similar, yes.
If you like fishing, you're gonna either find them at the bait shop or on the river.
Yeah, no shit. Go to the fly shop and hold up
Yeah.
a sign like hitchhiking, like, check it out. I want to fly fish with friends.
Just like hitchhiking.
I'm
yeah.
feeling a little lonely and vulnerable. You know,
Yeah.
and also, here's the thing about that. If you go, so I'll just relay it into solo travel.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for anybody. Check it out. When
Yeah.
I'm out there traveling,
You've
And
met so many
I'm
people
by myself.
who
When
are
you-
also doing the
Yeah.
same thing.
I don't feel so alone like I do
Yeah.
at home. So I'll feel alone at home. I'll be like, I can't relate. I can't relate to anybody here. Everybody has kids. They're all buying fucking,
And
you
that's
know,
not
and
a
I had a
bash.
house and I sold it. No, it's not bad at all. I don't
No.
care. I love kids, but I just don't, they're not for me. So what I mean by this is when you're out there, you become a different part of who the fuck you start discovering. You travel to discover better parts of yourself, not to escape yourself. So then you're out there and now you meet somebody or multiple people and you just make this fucking crazy connection because they have, check it out, the same fucking thing in common. And then you're like, wow, I'm not alone in this earth.
No. Yeah.
And that is one of the most craziest feelings and things I've ever learned. And then, like, also you helping me with the idea to do a podcast. And I was like, holy shit, I know if I get started, it's going to suck. And then it could get better. It could get worse. It could get better, but you just got to keep going. And then also, you know what I love about this whole setup is the record.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy? What if we do another one in another, I don't know, fucking half a year? And then we look back to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much?
That's cool. That's a weird thing. Growth. Like the YouTube. It's like, what the fuck? I know I babble about this on this because it's blowing my mind that I'm even started. And a big part of that is you. So thank you very much because this is fucking neat.
But we wouldn't even be here right now if we didn't have those weird commonalities of like, we both like solo travel.
Yeah.
We both aren't scared of trying new things.
We're kind of stubborn.
We're stubborn, absolutely.
But
we're also
open-minded.
Hold on, we're easygoing, stubborn people.
Yeah, not asshole stubborn. Well, maybe I could be an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, you can be an asshole.
I know because when I was drinking
I
and
need
I
to
started,
be an asshole more.
and when I met you, I was like giving you shit. I was like, "Oh, that's not a Jeep," and it's totally a Jeep, but I'm just a dick,
That's a
and I was
fake Jeep.
drinking. Yeah,
Nice fake Jeep.
right. What an asshole. But then our friendship started to take off when we met the guy from Alaska, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Which was insane. Devin,
This is when we started to become friends.
this is absolutely when we started to become friends
because of a Continental Divide hiker, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you had something where you were like inspired by this person, and I was like, I help these motherfuckers, right? So check this out: you're bartending there, serving at this bar in Lincoln, Montana. This guy, this Continental Divide hiker, has come through town. I'm sitting there. I can spot him from fucking wherever. I'm down there
You can
drinking
smell
beer.
him.
Yeah, you can smell them. You can see them. You know what they're doing.
I smell a Continental Divide hiker in here somewhere.
Yeah, and check it
Smells
out.
so bad.
I'm there. This is when we learn that we have something in common, not just me drinking at the bar telling you got a fake Jeep. So we're there. This guy's like, man, my feet are hurting. Like I would have offered him a shower and everything. I probably did because that's what I do.
You were like,
I
dude,
kick it
anything
off.
you need,
Yeah.
you got it.
Yeah, and me and him.
I got you.
Yeah, me and him hopped in the truck. He's like,
think
I
I
need new
maybe-
shoes. And he's like, I need a ride into Helena. And I need some trail stuff. And I was like, bro, I don't know, but I've heard that there's a fucking
Dude,
store at the top of
I still
Stemple
want to
Pass.
go there. I don't believe it's real.
Maybe we could do it tomorrow.
What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let's
We'll
see.
get back to
We'll
that.
talk about that later. So I'm like, bro, hop in my truck. I'll give you a ride. He's like, are you sure? You know, I could tell he's a little bit hesitant. And I was like, oh, fuck. I don't know that there is a store, so I'm not promising anything. At least it'll be
You
a
were
ride. We'll grab a
so
couple
open with
beers.
him.
And I was like, hop in, we'll go. So we start driving up there, and he starts venting to me about like people this guy's from the South. Seems really cool. Well, anyways, he had run into an extremely opposite political view, I guess, liberal, or it doesn't matter what the hell they are.
I don't know what.
But somebody that was totally vocal about like the Southern heritage and all this stuff, where I know
They
Southern
bashed on
people,
him?
they didn't bash on necessarily him, but they bashed on the ancestry and stuff. And he's like, dude, I didn't fucking own slaves. Like, I may be
Oh,
from the fucking
shit.
South and stuff, but I didn't own slaves. And you're just talking out your ass the whole time. He's like, my grandparents didn't even own any, stuff like this, a conversation like this. And he said it was
abrasive
yeah. And the guy
unconstituted.
that was hiking that I picked up and
shit,
took up.
I remember him saying something about this.
Yeah, and he was just telling me, like, he's like, I had to really bite my tongue, but I had to get away from that guy. I was like, dude, yeah, we can't surround ourselves around these people like that. They're so vocal about, all these different rights, everything, to where they take away from the experience that you're down here actually wanting to have.
Well, flashback to that solo travel thing.
Yeah.
This is why we do it.
Yeah, no shit.
But the weird thing is, like, he didn't really have a choice because they're probably hiking the same pace.
No, I think this might be another reason why he held up in Lincoln for a little while.
He was there for like 2-3 days.
Yeah, resting his feet. So anyways, we're driving in the truck, having a beer. I'm like, I don't know if this store is up here or what. You get to the top of Temple Pass right outside of Lincoln, Montana, which is right on the Continental Divide Trail. And then there's like this road off to the right as you drop down going towards Helena, and it switchbacks up, and there's this little red roof cabin up there with a fucking sign that says open. I'm like, there is a fucking store. And check it out. There's no fucking power. It's just solar panels, I guess. It's off
the
grid.
grid. Yeah.
Completely. We knock on the door. I don't know if the guy's there. My buddies, they're construction workers. They had built the building. So this is how I knew about it, but I guess I trusted them, but I didn't know. So me and this dude from Alaska or whatever, he travels to Alaska. I take him there. And we open the door. We're like, holy fuck. It's just full of like top of the line hiking gear. And this guy, I'll name drop this guy. The guy that owns the store, his name is Devan-Lepinski. And he's on the top of Temple Pass, Lincoln, Montana, right off the Continental Divide Trail, specifically for Continental Divide hikers. Like, he had a vision. He's living his vision. He went up there.
He's a trail angel.
He is an absolute trail angel.
Yeah, if you're, from what I've heard from you, if you are a hiker who is in need of gear right now, and you're in that area, he's the guy.
Dude, homeboy that I took up there, he went and spent like $1,200 on all this new shit. And he was like, this just made my fucking trip. Because I was really down in the dumps about my feet, about this negative guy that was hiking with him. And then as we drove down, the guy had to follow us down because the Venmos weren't working. It's off grid.
Oh, you had to get to service.
We had to come all the way down to the bank, and he had to withdraw X amount to get like $1,200 off a few different cards. Anyways, he ended up paying all this stuff. He bought a bunch of things, and then he sent his other shit home, and he's like, I never got to really hang out with him and see him, but you did. And you could just tell his mood got boosted, and he's like, wow, like, I told him that I travel the world, I'm trying to travel the world. That's a question. Like, when do you become a world traveler? Because I don't think I am, but I want to be. So that's off topic. But anyways, our trail buddy, when you and I became friends, like, there is a store. Like, that's just a story that came out of nowhere. It's like, I love life. I love the fact that people are hiking that trail. I love the fact that people are doing what they want to do and they're living it. And that doesn't even, I don't know what it costs to hike the Continental Divide Trail, but I can't imagine it costing over $3,000-$4,000 in gear with your food over the time period.
You can't imagine it.
I don't know what a budget is.
Gosh, these people.
Some plan for a couple years.
Yeah, some people literally leave their jobs to do it.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I want to do a large chunk of it, but I don't know, man. Quitting your job entirely, just leaving your job to do that is just insane, intense.
And you know what's fucked up is that's why I work for the railroad.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. When I was living in Alaska in 2000, 9, 10, and 11, all my buddies that worked for the railroad up there, and it's the White Pass Railroad in Skagway, they would get laid off, and they would go to India, Thailand. They would go to Southeast. They would go around the world and just hang out wherever they were and live way cheaper and have the money.
Yeah.
So they were off from just all of November, and they would come back in April. Or March and April. And I was like, fucking A, railroad is where it is at.
Same with teachers, though. Think about that.
That's the opposite.
Okay,
That's
but you don't make money. You don't make a lot of money, which is super unfortunate. But you get your summers off.
I think you want money.
Me?
I think people want money enough to actually enjoy their time off, because usually you got money, no time. You got time, no fucking money.
Life is all about balance.
Yeah, well, you got to work for that too, right?
I don't get paid a lot, but I love my job.
Right? You got to love your job. But I love the fact that my job gives me time off.
See, that's one benefit I could get behind.
For sure. And it is a fucking crazy job for that. But I set myself up for this. There's nothing better than getting a check every 2 weeks. And it's not much on railroad unemployment to be able, when you're on the fucking road and you get money coming in at least a little bit, it's major. Because when you watch your savings account dip, that is a sad thing when you're like, oh, I won't be able to work till the end of May, and then I'm still 5 weeks out from a full check and yada, yada, yada. So I'll work my dick off in order to have that time where I'm like, I didn't waste any of my fucking time working. Like those extra few hours or whatever a night, that paid for my whole fucking trip. And I don't have to worry about bills. I don't have to worry about shit. I'm like, you know what? I want to fucking straight up. I'm in Vietnam with my brother. I'm like, I want to go to Egypt. Do you want to go to Egypt?
Yeah.
Let's just book the tickets, man. Let's end our trip in Egypt. Nobody would ever know.
What a life.
So we did it. And I'm
Devin, you're insane.
That's not insane though.
No,
that's like totally normal.
It is totally Devin's normal, and I wish that my life would. Well, you look at me like that. Yeah, you're like, quit saying I wish and just do it.
No, but you can do it very responsible. You can figure it out, and you can set yourself. You have the same mentality right there, because you go to this concert, this festival, and you kick off this fucking trip that you have, and you kick it off with good music, good time. Yes, you maybe exhaust yourself a little bit, but at the same time, you're like, this is like making the memory. This is the part of the story. This is the beginning of the journey. It doesn't even start at the beginning of the trailhead. It starts a day earlier when you're like, I'm free.
I'm literally living my best life.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about going back to work till this time, but I'm enjoying every little bit of this time off that I have, because this is what I've got planned, and you do it, and you're fucking happy about it.
Yeah. The thing is, too, you can have really epic weekend trips. If you're like strapped for money, or your job doesn't let you just leave for weeks at a time, you can do what I do. I have not slept in my own bed. I've slept in tents, and I've even slept in my car every single weekend this summer. Like I was home maybe one weekend, and last summer I was only home 2 weekends throughout the summer. I don't even know why I pay rent at this point.
That's why I sold my house, and now I just live in my truck full time, and every now and then I get a motel room to set this up.
Yeah.
But it's really only to set myself up for the winter, so then I don't have to worry about my mortgage, my power bill, my sewer bill, fucking internet, anything, people watching it, pipes freezing, all the things that
worries
keep you up at night. No, my truck will be parked, and I'll disconnect the battery cable and let it just sit there or something. So I'm going to Iceland on Wednesday. Check it out. I'm going with a friend.
Hold up. Where are you leaving from?
Bozeman.
You can get out. You just got to fly to like a big airport.
What's up?
You just got to fly to like Chicago or something.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Okay. Continue. You're going with a friend.
Yeah, I'm going with a friend, and I didn't even take this into consideration, like hanging out with them before the trip. I'm doing this Devon style. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave here, Helena, on Wednesday night after I do laundry, make sure everything's totally fucking squared away. That's why I have this motel room for 2 nights. And then I'm just going to go sleep in the airport parking lot in my truck.
Dude,
and then I'm going to try to start documenting.
Like a month ago.
Really?
I slept, by the way, just
Who
a
are
heads
you?
up. Who the fuck are you? Just so you know, The planes don't stop until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then they kick back up at like 4. So you get like a solid 2 hours of sleep. Good luck.
No. Check this out.
AirPods.
I work for the railroad, so I sleep next to crossings.
Oh, yeah. Ding,
I'm
ding,
totally
ding, ding,
oh
ding, ding.
fuck, horns.
Yeah.
and so my brain is
Just
that is
used to
such
it.
a good way to train yourself.
Mhm.
This railroad shit is that right there. I can
Yeah.
sleep when I
Anywhere.
need to sleep.
Yeah.
I fucking hate the sounds of babies crying, and I hate weird like beeping noises. But I can handle a train horn
Yeah.
and the rumble of a train. That's something
And the
that's
plane's pretty
soothing.
similar. Yeah. I could sleep through anything. I just wanted to give you a heads up because anybody else I know probably would have complained about that.
About what? The airport or the
Yeah. Coming in and taking off. I slept through most of it. There was a
So you did this.
I
Tell me
did
about
this. You want to hear about this?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so gosh, it was like July. It wasn't that long
Recent.
ago. Yeah, no, maybe it was
This
June.
month?
It was June. It was
Okay.
definitely June. Yeah, no, I've literally, like I told you, I haven't slept in my bed. I've slept in my car or a tent or a camper or anywhere
A-
but my house for every weekend of the summer, except for probably one this summer.
A real dirt bag.
a real dirt bag.
That's a good
Hell yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah. So I don't believe in paying for a hotel room if you're only going to stay in it for like 6 hours. That's bullshit. Don't do it. So I got off
There's
work.
an exception there.
Yeah, because you need a freaking shower. That's
Yeah.
an exception. I got off work. It was like Thursday. I have like Fridays off once in a while. My boss is super cool.
Oh, it's 10:30. Wow, keep going.
We're cruising along. My boss is cool and believes there's only so many nice weekends throughout the summer.
Yeah.
And he wants us to have a 3-day weekend once in a while. So he'll give us a Friday off once in a while. That's why I love my job. He's so cool. So my boss gave me this Friday off and I left Thursday after work. I just cruised out of work, drove down to Bozeman, and I slept in the airport parking lot while I waited for my 5 o'clock flight.
And you did it.
And I did it. Absolutely. Yeah. I flew to, gosh, where did I fly to that time? I went a little, you probably do the same thing. I book really cheap flights, which means a couple connections.
Yes.
Which means you have some weird layovers. And on that trip, I actually slept in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport
Oh, okay.
too. So I could sleep in weird places.
Hence why I have a sleeping pad, a small backpacker's quilt, and an air up pillow in my shit.
Did I tell you that I found an app to find the best places to sleep in airports?
Oh, I'm good at finding them on my own. No, I
No,
don't
I
know.
know you are. I know you are. But there are apps out there. I'm going to have to locate it. Maybe you can link it or something. But there is an app that I found that you can literally find the best places to sleep in an airport. And it'll be like Terminal B, Section 32. Like,
There's a chair.
The seats have leg rests. And this section over here is better air conditioning.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to listen to the echo
Dude.
here.
Were you gauging to see how loud we were too?
Yeah.
Are we loud?
I have no idea.
Because I could hear people behind us, and
I
hope they
could
weren't,
too.
like mad at us.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, this definitely isn't a studio.
We're
This
in a
is a
hotel
motel
room.
Yes.
Yeah, a classy hotel room. Devin doesn't think so. I actually think these are very nice hotel rooms.
Really? Did you see the toilet paper holder fell out of the deal in there?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not destroy the bathroom yet. That was all you.
I was like grabbing, and I was like, "Holy shit!" The whole goddamn thing just fell out. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
That's another
They're not
thing.
it's not the nicest motel, but goddamn it,
It's nice for like a cheap hotel. I mean, I don't know what you
Yeah.
paid for it, but it's not like
$60.
yeah, it's decent.
Yeah, without the discount, I wouldn't stay in a motel at all. Honestly.
No, you've
but-
dialed in getting discounted rooms. You showed me your apps. But
I'm not even on an app.
This is for your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
Look at
want to
you,
be
double
saying
dip.
that. Yeah. We don't want to be saying that too loud. But you know what I also realized in travel is that I realized that if you go, so working on the road sometimes, one year, me and my buddy were staying in the same room, and we're in Billings, Montana. And it was like, oh, and they're like, or shit. shouldn't say that. We work for the railroad, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to edit that out. It doesn't matter because it won't exist anymore. Um,
Are they merging with something?
yeah, I'm out.
Don't edit that out, scrub.
I probably won't, to be totally honest. But remind me not to name drop like that again.
But
It
you
doesn't
do
matter.
know
Here
how
we go.
many, hold on. How many of the people who work for the railroad literally live for the railroad? And pretty much like don't have a house and stay out of hotels whether they're working or not.
This is a single man's job, and there's a lot of guys with families. But what I learned
Yeah.
is you can go to motels, and I've learned this traveling, not even just working this job, but you can be like, I want the discount, and we say our company, and they're like, well, your company doesn't have a discount. Where are you working at? We're like, oh, over at ExxonMobil. And they're like, oh, well, they get rooms for $45. We have X amount of rooms for them. I'm like, put that one down because we are working over there. So then we're able to get solid, good, cheap-ass rooms. So there's a hack right there. And
So
they
just-
never ask for ID. You just say, I'm working over there. They said I can charge here. Oh, wait, they don't. And you start figuring out where these bigger companies are, and you can charge. You don't charge. You pay. You say, I want to pay with my card. And you just roll with it. Also, if you're sleeping in your car, you can hit the continental breakfast at any motel.
I've thought about that. Yes.
You can do it.
Yes, you absolutely can. Who's
Yeah.
going to know?
Nobody
Who's
walk in
gonna
like you.
No. Walk in like you've been staying there for a week. Now,
Mhm.
these are some life hacks that are also called scams.
Are they? Yeah. Yeah, I talked to my brother about it. I was
I'm a
like, some
very-
people call it stealing. I was like, what?
Well, it's
They're gonna-
continental. It is provided.
Yeah.
Not for me, but somebody else. But I'm going to take
Hey, I
advantage
was
of it.
thinking about checking in. They just said I had to wait till, you could just be
Yeah.
like, I just talked to those people. They said I had to wait till 3 o'clock to get checked in. I'm just grabbing breakfast.
No one's going to know.
Yeah.
I've never
Adios.
done that. I'm very good. Very innocent.
You know what's bullshit?
But
Is that sometimes I
I'm
have
not.
enough money to not do that. But if you do that and you now you have lunch, you didn't spend any money that day. I learned this hitchhiking.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you can shower next to the pool. I told my friends this the other day and they're like,
Well,
in
you
the
could just
pool? I'm like, no, not
skip
in the pool.
Skip the shower and jump in the pool. No.
Yeah.
Chlorine kills everything.
Oh, yeah. Mainly pee particles, huh?
Ugh.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we should wrap this up just because we're talking and
That's
I
the
can
whole
hear
point.
people over there.
Yeah.
I don't want to piss them off, but also I don't give a shit because I'm about to go to Iceland and
Dude,
I just
before
don't
we
care.
end this,
Yeah.
tell me about Iceland.
Well, I've never been there.
Okay, but what are you looking forward to?
I don't
The
have
most.
I
You
don't
don't have
have
a
a ton of expectations. The only thing I don't want to do is waste my time backtracking. So I'm gonna rent a camper van, right? And I'll be able to go around the country. And my friend's going with, and they didn't really plan anything at all, anything at all.
They're
And
just
they
kind of
literally,
piggybacking with you.
I guess, but they're along for the adventure, but it's like their adventure, it's an adventure. And so I'll hit 1 year sober there, and then
Oh
they'll
my
hit
gosh.
6 months sober on the
Early-
exact same day.
Early happy birthday and
Thank
early
you.
happy half birthday.
Thank you. That's awesome. And so
That
that's
is
why I
awesome.
invited them
Yeah.
because it just so happened. So I was in Peru and I had hit my 6 months sober in Peru, February 4th. And then that just turns out when I get home, then they were like, oh, I quit drinking February 4th. I was like, well, fuck. You'll hit
Dude,
6
you
months.
have to celebrate that.
Yeah. We'll have a few
Is
drinks.
this
Huh? No, I'm just
person-
kidding.
Is this person a Montana person?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have they traveled much?
No. No.
Is this their first international trip?
Yes. So this will be not a rude awakening, but this should be a very good solid break-in for a travel trip for them. And for me, it's just like a bucket list
Uh-huh.
with check it off the list, and I have to take advantage of it because it's in the summer and it's also I don't want to go to Iceland in the winter because I lived in Alaska for 2 years. I know exactly what it's like.
Shit, we live in Montana. We know what the cold is like.
Yeah, it's 55 degrees right now. They're raining every day. And
That's-
I hear it gets pretty windy. But my main thing is I just don't want to backtrack. I don't want to waste any time. And normally I don't plan out a ton of shit. I just have a basic idea. And right now I've been playing around on my laptop, watching YouTube videos and trying to figure out what the best option is. And so far I figured out I'm going to drop like Blue Lagoon is going to be very
just gonna ask
it's going to
you.
be very first because it's right next to the airport and that'd
Oh,
be a
yeah.
good spot to sit and soak
That
and be
is
like
what I think of
we're in Iceland.
when I see.
It's a crown jewel.
Yeah, every time I see anything Iceland, it's always the Blue Lagoon with the big jagged rocks and
Yeah.
gray earth.
And
yeah,
Blue and the white
bright blue.
shit you put on your face.
The white shit you put, bird shit.
Yes, that's
on your
what
face.
I hear. That's just straight penguin shit.
What are you? Oh, the
Yeah.
clay, the white
It's-
clay. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, whatever
Yes.
it is.
Oh, Iceland is gonna be epic.
I'm not good with words sometimes. So yeah, immediately off the plane, pick up this van at noon, and then after that, we're gonna sleep in that van, camper van.
Yeah.
And yeah, I snore and shit, so good luck to them. But I'm excited. Like sometimes it sets in, sometimes it doesn't. I got 2 more days of work. And I'm really excited about that because, like I said, I just don't want to backtrack. That's my main
Yeah.
thing. I do not want to backtrack. I don't want to be like, fuck, we missed that. We got to drive back like 30 minutes or miss it completely. So
I think
I want
Iceland's
that
gonna
thought
be
out.
pretty easy to navigate.
It'll be easy to navigate. So I got a 5G router type deal or a hotspot that goes with the van too. So I'll have my computer and I'll also have my phone. And I always take a spare phone, which is jailbroken, where I can get like an Icelandic chip. That I had a Peruvian chip in that phone, the spare iPhone. And, you know, wouldn't you believe this? Or you don't have to, but I came back from Peru this year. I shut that phone off when I left the airport. When I was taking off, when I lost service, I was like, okay, don't need that fucking phone anymore because I took that one to Asia. That one's been on a few continents.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my go-to for like, I need internet now all the time. And it runs a hotspot so I can run this and that. And I bring it back to Montana. Nobody's getting service up where I'm working, like up by Idaho, by Hope, Idaho. And that was the only phone that would work.
Your Peruvian chipped phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was sending
Why?
text messages
That
to my
is
brother.
crazy.
And I was like, did this work? He's like, this is your Peru number. And it worked for, I don't know, like the rest of the month until I
using up
ran out.
minutes.
Yeah. Well, so Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram are data free. Like you can use them unlimited with it.
That
But
is
if you
so
search
weird.
online, which I was doing because I didn't have service on mine, so I'd be like checking the weather and shit, that runs down your data. So I had that phone, and I was like, this phone came from fucking Peru to everybody on the crew. I was like, it's working right now. I was like, you got service? No. You got service?
Suckers.
No. AT&T, T-Mobile, all these places didn't have service, but my fucking Peru phone had like 4 bars. I'm
Why
like,
do you think that was?
I don't know, but I was like,
Do you
maybe.
think they're like Americans? You don't get service here, but anyone else?
I have
Yeah.
no idea. Maybe there's, so in other countries too, you can buy like a S10 Chevy little truck that's diesel. A lot of the cars are diesel. We can't buy those here. We can't buy like the Toyota trucks that we have here. They all come in diesel over there. So they won't allow us to have those diesels. I'm just wondering if they won't allow us to have like the access to all the cell towers, like a T-Mobile would run or something like that. But there's just some things we're not allowed to have. And I'll tell you why. Money. It's
Yeah.
probably because the fuel efficiency of a small little diesel van, or maybe it's emissions. Like there's just things that we don't have that third world places or just other countries have,
Yeah.
which is stupid.
Very weird.
Yeah, like we're in the world, right? Let us have that.
We are, everything that we are fed is filtered.
So like your Jeep, the
Yeah.
car that you have,
Yeah, which one?
those come in diesels.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could buy a diesel version of my newer Jeep.
That's only up until like somewhat recently, right? Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, there was like some of the Patriots and stuff are diesel, but you don't want
not
it.
very many.
No, you don't want one, though. They have all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
At least in America. Maybe we just have shitty fuel, but
But there's other little cars like
that's huge. Also, when you travel, you learn about quality. Americans God bless America, but the quality of our stuff is just like what we're taking in is just poorly made and designed. A lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you learn so much when you go places.
Food is absolutely the worst in America. Can you agree?
Oh,
come on.
I've seen some crazy shit.
You've been in some pretty crazy
Yeah, I've
places.
seen some. Well, you can get American food everywhere. As far as like, there's a KFC everywhere. There's literally a fucking Pizza Hut and a KFC and a McDonald's right near the pyramids. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I had KFC
that
like
just makes me want to vomit.
chicken sandwiches in Egypt, looking at the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx. Right, it's right there. I think there's a Pizza Hut there too, but there's definitely a KFC, and even like near,
I bet you anything if you did a side by side comparison, that food there is still better than our KFC and Pizza Hut here. I'm not going to be getting Pizza Hut or KFC in another country, though, or even in another state. Like,
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm fucking sick. I'm sick of curry. I'm getting the fucking pizza. I'm getting the fucking McChicken. I just need a little taste of home, and it doesn't have to be much. Oh, yeah, I remember why I don't eat that. And then
now
you're
I'm
like,
constipated.
Yeah, something. Yeah, or bad gas or opposite. Yeah. And you just would be surprised what you're craving.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you'd be like, all right, yeah, I'm okay. I need some ice cream, or I'm sick of eating curry. I'm sick of eating seafood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that. But I don't know. That's culture shock for you. You know, you get used to it, and then you're like, oh, I'm in it. I'm in it. I kind of miss home. And then when you get home, you don't miss it. Well, I don't. I miss it, but when I get home, I'm like, the adventure's over.
Yeah.
Like, the foreignness of like, okay, so just even saying like the backcountry.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah.
When I got back from the backcountry, civilization sucks. I was just
weird.
I actually got sick on my way home. We had to pull the car over and let me vomit.
Really?
Yeah. So
car sick?
I didn't have giardia or anything like that. I think it was just like excited to be back in the car and like on my way off the trail, but also like, I don't know if I just like was getting car sick.
Maybe you're just sad because you were leaving. You probably really got in your groove by the end.
I was just like in my spot. Yeah. I was really loving it. And then, but just suddenly I just got so sick on my way back in. We had to literally pull the car over twice so that I could puke.
Brutal.
I was so sick coming back. I don't know. Maybe I just was like, leave me in the wilderness. I don't belong in society.
Oh, fuck.
My God. So I got back here and I just had this like, well, that's over.
Yeah.
But also like, I craved some foods when I was on the trail back there.
Oh, you can't help but think about that.
You can't. No. Weirdly enough, I just wanted a glass of milk and I don't drink milk. So that was funny. But yeah, like the comfort things, you miss certain things when you're like away, but when you get back, like in your case, I feel like you're like, oh, I'm over it. But you're like a lot more grateful when you come off of like, you're almost like third worldy when you're in the backcountry.
Oh, for sure.
So when you get back
you're
to
closer to
civilization,
nature.
Yeah, when you get back to civilization, it can be, in my opinion, a little bit overwhelming, a little bit melancholy. Like I'm excited because I can see people again, but I'm also excited.
Or that goddamn phone. You get back into service and you get all these notifications. Ding, 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 you get a text from me like, hey, what's up? When you coming back? Let's do a podcast. Hey, you're like, fucking
I'm Helena.
Leave me alone, you freak. No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I had an overwhelming number of weird messages because the festival.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone's like, send me those pictures. And it's like a week late, so they're all pissed. They're like, I wanted to post those pictures. And I'm like,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up about your pictures. Then can't you just live in the moment?
Can't you just be excited that I made it out of the forest alive?
Yeah. Ask me about my fucking trip.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Gosh, it's so awesome, though. There's something special about traveling and just like getting off the beaten path.
Getting away from it.
You learn what you actually want pretty quickly.
Oh, it's a good time to sit in your head and reflect and be like, God damn it, you know that fight I was having with that so-and-so? I
That's
forgive him.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
I
stupid
forgive him.
fight.
Yeah, maybe I was an asshole there, whatever. You're just like fucking moving on from things. You're like
Yes.
solving
what's
problems that you
weird-
didn't even know you had.
Exactly. But what's weird is the people that you have those problems with don't have that opportunity to kind of like reflect and be like,
No, they're in the rat race.
they're still in the rat race. Yeah. But
There's-
even though you've like forgiven them, they're like, like angry with you.
Sometimes, like, some of my favorite times to absolutely think, like, I took that hike yesterday and I got to think, and I was like, okay, I want to go to fucking skydiving school, but can that work this year? I want to enjoy my Iceland trip. I have enough money for that. I'm like thankful. I'm like, why do I feel some anxiety when everything's good to go? And
That's a good thing.
yeah. And
That
then,
anxiety is what you need. It keeps your heart beating.
oh, yeah. But then you got to go think of, yes. Like
Yeah.
anxiety about money keeps money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't give a shit, I know people that don't, they say they don't give a shit about money, but trust me, they do when they don't have any. And so, like, that's where it comes back to the work. But what I was thinking is some of my favorite moments to think or really sit and reflect is like when I'm looking out the plane window taking off from somewhere or coming home. Not necessarily coming home, but landing and listening to a good song, even though they're like, shut your phone off. I never fucking do. And I always listen to something good, and I'll play one after this podcast. I'll put one on the podcast. And
One of your travel beats.
either a beat or just no. Yeah. I'll put a song on here that'll be good for this podcast.
Okay.
I like that because music goes with a lot of things. It goes with some thinking, some forgiveness, all the shit that you think of, all your anxiety. And for me, it's like I'm cursed. I'm happy to leave home. I'm also happy to return. But
Absolutely.
I'm so happy to leave.
That's not a curse. I think that's a blessing.
Yeah. Some people never fucking leave.
Yeah.
Or they want you to do exactly like we talked earlier, exactly what they want you to do.
Gross.
Oh, I got a dog. You should get a dog.
Oh,
I got a boat.
kid.
You should
have
get a boat.
kid.
Oh, yeah. Kids are way cooler than you think. I'm like, yeah, you look like you've been up for 20 days.
Yeah.
You know, I know they're cool. I just wish they were like older and could work for me. Pay some bills.
That is called slavery, Devin.
Yeah. Well, you got to get your kids to work early, but I'm not having any, so.
Yeah. I just say fuck tradition a little bit.
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat, yeah.
You know, I think we were taught all. It's so fucked up when you graduate school or something.
It's a society. I know where
Just
you're
do
going.
the norm.
Yeah.
But what is
Go
the
to
norm?
college. Get a good job. Buy a house. Get married first. Ugh. Then have your house.
Yeah, get married. Fall in love with somebody that you're not exactly sure that you're fucking in love with.
Yeah, yeah.
And
get a career that you don't even fucking know if you want.
You think
Go
your
to school for
relationship's
this
struggling a little bit?
Yeah.
Have a baby.
Oh yeah.
And
Baby
then
will
hate
solve
that person
everything.
forever.
Gross.
I've seen this shit happen.
Oh, we've all seen it happen, and they're like just like entranced with this amazing lifestyle they've got, and it's like, no.
No, yeah,
You've
your
got
boat
this
and your razor
toxic
and your
shit.
fucking four-wheeler and all the shit. Use the quads that God gave you, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I need to get out and do some
Phoebes.
more hiking. I'm really excited about that.
Iceland is going to be so perfect for hiking.
I know. I won't be doing a ton of it
Get a
because
bike in Iceland.
I got some
Get
shit
an
to figure
e-bike.
out. I definitely
Do an e-bike. There are so many bike trails in Iceland. I've not been there. I'm just telling you because I ride iFit in Iceland all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Oh God, it's so fun.
What
so
the fuck is iFit?
iFit is like an interactive workout. So like you can throw it up on your tablet on your bike, and your bike will adjust with the speeds.
No shit.
Yeah, and the incline, it'll adjust.
So
like,
you're there.
just based on like the tension. Like yeah.
Somebody
and
went and filmed it.
Someone, yeah, I'll show you when we get off here. Someone has filmed it. They're talking like they're riding right next to you. They're telling you about where you're at. They're like your little tour guide. And they have the same thing for hiking. They have the same thing for running. So if you wanted to be on a treadmill, you could do it too.
And you get that like runner's high, but artificially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
yeah.
bicycling
Dude,
high.
I would
So
bike like 20 miles a day this winter because I was like traveling the world on iFit. Yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
nuts.
So I
That's
loved
cool.
Iceland.
That's
I
like the
spent,
imagination at its finest
yeah, I spent like
with some real visual.
I spent
shit.
like a month in Iceland on that thing.
No
There are
way.
waterfalls. There
Yeah.
are
Oh, yeah. You're like, I've traveled Iceland
volcanic
already.
things.
That's
Yeah.
another thing. That can be false for some people. Like my grandparents, they'll never go anywhere. Or multiple people will be like, I just saw it on TV. I was like, yeah, but you didn't smell the ocean there.
Yeah.
You didn't hear the birds that get shit on. You know, you didn't fucking eat
It
some bad
feels
food
like
and
you're
get
there,
sick. Yeah, it
but you
doesn't
also
do it
didn't
any
get
justice.
you don't get the
You
shitty experience of
The good, the bad, the
that's
ugly.
that's the memory. The like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've
The
had
shitty good experience.
Oh, dude, the
Yeah.
night you never got to sleep. Or the night me and my brother were just talking about being in Vietnam and getting the worst room. Like picture these bed sheets, but just like they just came out of the dryer, but they only half dried and they made the bed that way. It was just the
wrinkly.
most, like cold, wet,
Moist.
sticky,
Ew.
worst night of sleep I ever had. It sucked. And then we instantly got on a car to go on a cruise that day, and I was, when you're tired, you're just fucking tired.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, coffee's not gonna fix it. I just need good rest. But I'm in the back of a car in Vietnam, beating up and down these roads, like trying to get to Halong Bay. And wow, one room like that makes the memory.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the story. You're not gonna remember the good times. It's like that one time I got so sick. You don't remember that one time you just felt fucking normal. You're like, it was just an
No.
average day. Average sucks.
Yeah. You don't talk about like
Comfort sucks.
Yeah, comfort does suck.
Comfort doesn't suck. It's nice, but it also is like, it's weird. It's like I seen a thing today. It's like comfort's where your dreams go to die.
Uh-huh.
Because if you give somebody like a weak person comfort, easy access to food, TV that they can watch and shit.
Monotony.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck monotony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta live. I think we're meant to live and not and sometimes it seems like I haven't even got to even barely live at all.
Dude,
I feel that way.
Yeah, I dated a guy once who never stepped out of his comfort zone, and I was talking about some of the experiences I had, and he was like, that's absolutely bullshit. There's absolutely no way you could have done those things or been in those places. Everything you say is just a lie.
No, you know what, motherfucker?
No.
There's no way you
I'm
could
sorry.
have done it.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you wouldn't have ever gone through. Like, I'm telling you, good moments, bad moments, everything I did
Real.
was, yeah, in his eyes, like, there's no fucking way that could have happened.
Yeah, that doesn't make that's only movie stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, dude. You
It's
keep
like
enjoying your fucking bed sheets at home. Like, I'll go on these crazy
Some people
adventures.
are totally into the creature comforts all the way.
Yeah,
Everything.
Literally,
Nope.
they get up, eat the same thing that they ate yesterday for breakfast, do the exact same. Like,
They're
just
robots.
constant.
Yeah, they're
robotic.
they're zombies.
I call it the simulation.
Yeah, the real Matrix where
I
they're
don't
like
it.
plugged in and they're like, all right.
If I do the same thing on repeat, I start getting like this like deja vu thing, and I can't.
Fuck
I just
that.
can't do it. No, but there are some people that have never stepped out of their comfort zone, so they don't believe
It's true. And
that there is like truly.
you know what's fucked up is they're like, could you believe somebody would even want to go anywhere? Or they're living a
I
totally
am
different
so
life.
comfortable.
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Fuck your comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, comfort. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you're going to work for, that you have to work for, you're going to appreciate more. So
Absolutely.
when I was telling my brother on the last podcast, I was like, man, I sold my fucking house, right? Now, I bought some equipment for work. I like work. But I could have traveled for the next 3 or 4 years on the money that I had.
Yeah, but now you can travel for like the next 6 to 9 years after you.
Yeah. So, but when
It's
you
an
earn
investment.
it,
Mm-hmm.
not even necessarily the investment, but when you earn your freedom, like it sounds like slavery. You got to earn your freedom. No, what I'm saying here is when you earn it, you appreciate it. You don't take it for granted when you worked your fucking ass off to get to where you're at. Like that hike. You work your ass off, you plan, you anticipate, you're like, wow, wow, wow. And then and then when you get to that moment, you got to realize you're in it.
Oh, yeah.
And take mental pictures, not just with the iPhone or nothing. You just got to be like, wow.
Just absorb.
Did you ever cry on any moment, any time like that?
Yes.
Did you have a moment out there where you let it loose by yourself?
I kind of cried when we got back. I actually already texted the friends that I went with, and I was like, I really miss you guys. They live across town.
Yes.
They literally live across town. But I was like, it's like emotional. We were pinching ourselves when we got back. This is something we've all wanted to do for a very long time, and not many people I know have even done it.
Yeah.
Just besides the CDT people. They that's inevitable. If they do the whole thing, they have to see that one portion. But the majority of my back home friends wouldn't even fathom touching that wilderness.
Really?
At all. No.
Yeah, people get scared now. And then with that bear eating that lady in Ovando and stuff, it's like totally
thing. Yeah. And then they see the news that happened when I was in there. The gal that, did you see that yet?
No.
While I was in there.
Was this your hiker friend?
No. This is not my poor little hiker friend with her really bad feet. That was so sad. No, this is a different situation. There was another couple that was in there celebrating their anniversary. They're like middle-aged. And this gal broke her leg, her tib and her fib, both bones in the leg.
Well, I know the feeling, but not both of them.
Oh, yeah.
But one.
I'd rather not. Ever. No.
I think it was the fibula. Yeah.
Yeah. So she broke her leg. I don't know how it happened. I haven't even read the article. I've just heard it from so many people. Broke her leg. And of course, neither one of them had a satellite phone. They didn't have inReaches. So her husband had to leave her and trek 7 miles to find help.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, they had to fly a crew in to pick her up. And
but he saved her by
I
trekking.
haven't heard anything since they got her out, but I'm assuming she's alive.
He was eaten by wolves.
No, so
guys, this is not a happy story.
No. It is a good story. I think she's alive. The air crew came in and they said that there was grizzly scat and sign all around her.
I think we'll just wrap it up at that. She was eaten by bears. No, I'm just kidding.
I can't even
that's
imagine.
That's gnarly though. But that's like
one hell of a
life.
story they're gonna have. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have that fucking story if they had
and
stayed on the couch.
Thankful. No shit.
I guarantee you there'll be a moment where they'll kind of consider like, are we ever gonna hike again? But I fucking bet they get back out there.
Fuck yeah. So check it out. Remember, are you familiar with the movie Fight Club?
I don't really watch TV or movies, but I've heard about
Fight Club. This is an old
Club.
movie. I think it came out in 1999. Check it out. In the movie, they fuck with this guy at the bar. And it's actually just one guy because he's a schizophrenic. So it's Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. And they are at the backside of a bar and they were like punching each other in the face. And anyways, he had this gun and he grabbed a guy and he got him down on his knees and he put the gun to the back of his head. And he was like taking it all the way to the limit. He wasn't going to kill him, but he took it all the way to the limit. And he's like, "What is your name? What did you do today? What are you happy for?" And shit. And he's like, "I'm going to fucking kill you right now." Right? And he's just like, he doesn't kill him. And he's like, "Here's your wallet." But he made him think he was going to die. And then when he tells his friend, who is the same person because he's a schizophrenic, it's Tyler Durden and whoever. And he's like, tomorrow that guy will wake up and have the best day of his life. That's kind of like the similar shit. You know, you got to hike 7 miles to save your old lady. And then you're like, wow, all these bears and stuff. They are so, it brought them closer. I guarantee you it brought them closer, and they had share that moment for the rest of their lives, and they'll be like, I broke my leg, you saved my life, you really are like my hero, and vice versa. I would do anything for you type mentality. By the time you get to the end of that, you're like, we are fucking so close because of that. Or it was like, I never wanted to go on that hike in the first place, you cocksucker. Yeah, just in the ambulance, you son of a bitch. Right? It could go one of two ways.
It could go either way.
It could be like, I want a fucking divorce.
I know it's our first wedding anniversary, but fuck you.
Yes. I don't know. That's funny.
That's fucked up.
It could have happened. They could be filing papers right now, or they could be like, I love you forever. I bought you this nice bracelet with these bear paws on them. Yeah. Fuck.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
That's what's cool about all of that though, is like you don't know what you're gonna get out there.
That's life.
That's life. Yeah.
No,
oh
that
my
could
God,
be
I
tomorrow.
could fucking die in a car crash on my way to work tomorrow.
Ugh, please don't.
I'll try not to. I'll walk just in case.
And we work a crazy job on the railroad, and something could happen. We had a guy get crushed, and it's like, you don't know.
You don't know when your moment is going to be. At least be doing something you want to be fucking doing.
Trying to. If you are doing something you don't want to do, at least be doing it for something later that you want to.
Balance.
Well,
Not everything can be
all my
sunshine
trips
and roses.
now, I basically treat them like they're going to be my last.
Absolutely.
But this year, check it out. I North America, South America, all in 2022. North America, South America, Europe, and Southeast Asia by the end of the year. I'll be in Southeast Asia. And then immediately I got a bro that has hiked the trail that you just did. He did it on his own
That's wild.
a couple
I love
years
it.
ago. And I'm going to meet him in Spain, and we're going to travel Morocco together. So I'll actually hit Africa to start out 2023, which
I'm
Which
so
is really
excited for you. That's awesome.
up to actually being like, holy shit, I'm actually living my dream. And it took a lot of fucking work to get here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of dedication and a lot of moving some chess pieces of shit that I don't want or need in my life.
A
And
little
I
bit
started.
of sacrifice.
So when you take your pack on a hike like what you just did, do you ever take a notebook and be like, I didn't fucking need that?
There's like maybe 2 things that I packed that I didn't
So
use.
never forget that, because that's
Yeah.
how I've done with my life in the last couple of years. I'm like, I don't fucking need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. If you haven't used it in a year or a half a year, chances are you don't fucking need it, or you can rent it or borrow it.
I met a hiker on the trail that kind of reminded me of our Alaska guy. It's a guy that I was showing you his Instagram earlier.
Yeah, tell me about this guy.
He's an outfitter. I guess he's a guide, not an outfitter. He's a guide, and this is his first time on the Continental Divide. He's done big chunks of the PCT, big chunks of the Appalachian. Like, he's just a big hiker. He hikes a lot of stuff, and so he's just trying to add another one to his resume, his guiding resume.
Yeah.
And I was telling him about my shakedown thing.
Yes, the pack.
I love
I
knowing
love that.
what people
Don't you
have
go
in
be
there.
telling
I'm
everybody
just
your
saying,
ideas.
I love knowing what people carry.
I could imagine it's pretty similar when you get down to brass tacks. You think?
Yeah. No, he's packing 20 pounds. This guy was packing 20 pounds. But he
How much
said,
were you packing?
I was packing just under 40 pounds. So,
Fuck.
yeah, dude. I was pretty much like, I weighed myself before I left my house and I was like 29 pounds. And then we added a fuck ton of snacks when I got to my friend's house.
But those
and
go
then
away.
a sleeping bag. Oh, yeah. No. I'm telling you, I ate some food on this trip. That's why I came back heavier, which I don't give a shit about, but some people do. And I had a tent and a sleeping bag and everything kind of just added up. So I was probably just under 40 pounds. But when I talked to him and I was telling him, I just briefly touched on the subject of like, I like to know what people carry in their packs. Like, I've always wanted to just kind of like shake down people and like know what's in their packs. And he's like, that's my job. As a guide, he said, if you run into people or you're guiding people, you need to know what all they carry in their pack.
Yeah,
and if
useless
they haven't,
shit.
Yep. And he pretty much gauges like, at the beginning of the hike, you have all these things. And if I don't see you use it within the first 24 hours, get it the fuck out of your pack.
No
you don't
shit.
need it. So I have a freaking life tent and a bivvy. And I didn't touch either one of them because I didn't have any near-death experiences. But we also had a bear trauma kit in case we ran into someone who was like,
That's
needing
fair
help. All those things could come in handy, but at the end of the day, didn't use it. So what's the rule here? Like,
Yeah. So you almost, if you were hiking with, say, me,
yeah.
it would be easier because it would be like, I'll pack the tent.
Yes.
You pack
that's
the poles.
okay. So
Did they do that?
okay, well, you're gonna need your poles no matter what. So you mean like trekking
Tent
poles?
poles.
Oh, tent poles.
Yeah.
You could do that. I had a single tent. Probably could have fit 2 people in it.
You can.
You can
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah,
4 if
right.
you're really want
Pass
to
out.
stack each other up. But yeah, you could totally divide your weight out. Like, one of us carried a jet boil. I carried 2 guns. There we go. There's some weight I could have gotten rid of
2
right there.
guns?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're fucking hardcore. You won't do that
Yes.
ever again. You just
no,
need one.
I mean, well, so I got into town really short, on time, and I didn't have time to go grab 2 magazines for
so
one of my
you learn
pistols.
no matter what.
Yeah, but I didn't have time to go get two magazines. So I was like, fuck it. I have a magazine for each of them. Both of them are coming along.
Damn, that's so much extra weight. But you learn. You're like,
Yeah.
I need to be more prepared there.
Yeah, I needed to maybe just
That's why.
spare the 5 minutes to go across
On that-
town and grab my magazines. Yeah.
Mhm. You won't regret that 5 minutes. But you.
I
And you
was
probably won't
A-okay, but it worked out well because two of us had pistols, and I'd rather be overpacking than underpacking. And one of the girls didn't have a pistol. She didn't really want to carry a pistol, but I was like, I'll put it in the right part of my pack so that if we needed to, you could reach in from behind
and grab it.
Yeah. So it worked out fine, but you learned pretty quickly.
Yo, fuck.
Just like you
look at that
Devin,
shit.
I'm looking at Devin's pile of stuff that he keeps in his pack. He's very meticulous. He packs it and unpacks it and gets it memorized before he even takes off. Like, he's already given me the tour of his pack, and you figure it out, like, what you do and don't need pretty quickly.
That's what I should make a quick YouTube video like tomorrow night, but we should go. I wish I had time to go up and check out that store with you, but I'm actually don't think I do.
Dude, that's fine. The store will be there.
Yes, it will. But yeah.
How long are you in Iceland?
Till the 9th of August, and then I won't be going home until maybe that weekend. I don't even know. I might sign up for skydiving school and just go straight and start doing that, which is fucking something I
skydiving school.
want.
Does that mean that you will be diving with other people on you eventually, maybe?
No.
Or just like diving on your
own.
A
license. A license takes 25 jumps. I have 23 more to go before I can sky. So basically the next jump I get to do is alone, but the last two I've done have been tandems. And you do those tandems to start out to be like, okay, I want to, you got to know if you actually want to do it. So you spend the money, do the tandems. I did one up at Meadow Peak up at Marion, Montana.
And you did one in Moab.
And I did one in Moab. And I know for a fact that I love that feeling. But also at that same time, I'm like, okay, it's going to cost X amount of dollars, and I got to have 25 jumps. That takes time. I could be working and saving or spending money. Or am I going to regret not doing this? I think it would really expand my world trip skydiving around the world. I think it would expand that excitement, all that, the experience, period, all the way.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous, but I really,
different places.
Honestly, I see bridges and shit. I want to fucking jump off of them. I want to. This is for the fucking.
Should we get you help?
This is for, in a good way. For the record, I want to learn how to base jump. I want to learn how to control my canopy. I want to learn how to free fall. I want to. So I've done bungee jumping and skydiving, and it's like I don't want it to just be a tourist thing. I kind of want it to be a part of my life. I like adrenaline. I'm not too scared of heights. I fucking respect them, so I want to do it completely correct and take the time. So I had even thought about doing it last weekend and starting the process. But then I was like, okay, then I'll be going to Iceland, and it could be some perishable information in there. I'd rather just do it from start to finish, get my 25 jumps, and then continue to jump and learn. So that's like what my idea is possibly when I come back, but I'm not 100% on it because of time. Just because of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that just for the record, hopefully I listen back to this and I'm like, fuck, I'm a fucking skydiver now. Or it'll be like, yeah,
Devin,
I should have done that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
You don't want that. No.
There is that quote. It is 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the things that you did do.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
I think the mindset that we have that's fascinating is there's like never a moment where you're like, I regret that. For us, I don't think there's any of those moments. I think that I
have a couple regrets in my life, but nothing I'm going to fucking sit and stew over.
Yeah.
Those regrets that you're allowed to have them. Have your regrets, but fucking learn from them.
Learn and move on.
Yes. You don't fucking sit there and be like, oh.
Yeah. Don't dwell.
Then what? Like, you have your regrets.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuses. Now, this is another thing. Casey Neistat, I watch him on YouTube, and he's just like, excuses are where dreams go to die.
Absolutely.
And then when your dreams die, you're only left with your fucking excuses. So if you want to live with your excuses, go ahead. Nobody went with me rafting. Excuse. Nobody wanted to go with me on the hike. Excuse. Nobody wanted to go to fucking Iceland with me, which is weird because now finally somebody's going. But if nobody wanted to go to Peru, I was going to Peru no matter what. And nobody was going to stop me. And when you make the decision, you live with it, whether it's bad or good.
Yeah.
And at least you didn't have an excuse. Oh, excuses, time. Fucking make time right there. I just told myself, make time for skydiving. Because it's something I promised myself on my fucking phone in Peru in February. You're going to skydiving school this summer. So it's just fucking, the seed is planted. You know? So it's like, fucking, I don't want the excuse of what time. Like, fucking make time. Just take the fucking weekends. They're open Thursday through Sunday. Try to get your jumps. And if it doesn't work out, you can still go home.
Yeah.
I could still come hang out with you and Helena. We could do some hikes. Be like, the weather sucked. I can't jump this week. It's all right. I'm invested. Once the ball is rolling, I think, and I know, I will be fine. One excuse, one worry is an injury.
Yep. But that's an excuse I could have used to not go on the CDT too. Both of our ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacked.
Both of them. Yeah.
But mine is not so
That
much
was-
anymore. You know, I fucking cruised yesterday and I was like runner's high. I had it yesterday.
Hiker's high. It's a thing.
It's cool.
It's super cool. Yeah. It kicks in at about 8 o'clock when you're
Getting going.
You're on the bob. Yeah.
For me, that's coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love coffee
Dude.
in the morning. Shit. It's like 10:30 and I'm drinking coffee right now. Actually, it's gone. I'm about to sneeze.
Advanced bless you.
I stopped it. I think. Yeah. But anyways.
Yeah. Just the excuses I could have made to not go on that trip.
Yeah, but you don't live that way.
No, absolutely not. It's not my
You don't.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
No.
I feel-
I've come to this conclusion where if it's presented to me, I just think to myself, you know, I'm really lucky to be able to do that thing.
Fuck.
So I'm going to freaking do it. So that's why I did it this summer. I ran out of vacation days long before this trip. So
Right.
I did that trip for free.
Oh, I'm about to be out of vacation days, but they let you off, so that's neat.
They let me off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't turning it down because in my mind is like, I've been hurt enough. I'm healthy. I'm going to do it while I can. I might not ever be able to do something like this again. And I think having that mindset keeps you kind of going. Like, I'm going to do this while I can.
It's your positive attitude.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, which is mindset. But
Yeah.
yeah. If you're negative all the time, you're going to have a negative life.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, let's wrap this up. But thanks for coming on here.
Yeah.
And I know it's getting late. It's about 11 o'clock at night now. Still jacked up on coffee. What did you think of the experience of being on this little podcast?
I am super happy to be here. I actually would like to do more of these. I
Oh, we
can't wait
should.
till you get back from Iceland and
Oh,
I
we
can
can-
hear about all of your adventures stories.
Right? We should pick some
God.
topics. Like,
Absolutely. I've got so many ideas rolling around already.
yes.
Like there's so
There's
much
a
I didn't
ton.
even cover about. Gosh, it was so fun. There's so many things I didn't even cover about my backcountry trip. So,
Oh, maybe I should have been a better interviewer and asking questions.
no, absolutely not. No, there's gonna be more opportunities to talk about funny shit that happens on adventures because that trip was like
Dude.
there were no drugs involved. But if you were an outsider looking in, you'd think, "Holy shit, those people are on some drugs." But
You know what's cool?
what's that?
That, because me and my brother were talking about that on the last podcast about how you just start firing shit back at each other. And it's funny. The weirdest things become funny and you're having an amazing time and you're literally just high on life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like when you when you get super exhausted at night and you can't help but laugh and you're like, and you're like laying down and you're like, next thing you know, you're like snoring, but you're joking all the It's like exhaustion high.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fucking funny. The dumbest shit is the funniest. It's tough to find people. Well, I think everybody can relate to that. Well, no, fucking some people get super grumpy
Oh my God, yeah.
when
yeah.
they are like tired. They're like, or in the morning. Like I don't get grumpy in the morning.
I just don't get grumpy. Have you
I
ever
know,
seen
I
me
can-
grumpy?
No, you're super nice.
Yeah. What's
Like
funny?
all the time.
What's funny is some people don't agree with that. I'm like literally one of the happiest people you'll ever fucking
You
meet.
are. You are.
Yeah.
And you know it. And even I can get like grumpy at work. Not grumpy at work, but just like, okay,
I get
I'm not talking to
RBF
that
at
person.
work.
Huh?
I get RBF at work, like resting bitch face.
Yeah.
But it's
But
like,
you're still feeling fine.
I am fine.
You're like, this is my focused face.
This is just me in my zone.
Yeah.
But
Alrighty, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I can't wait to do this again. And we will come up with other topics and
Funny ass topics.
Yeah, dude, it's literally with a podcast idea like this that like you and I kind of came up with, and then I was like, fuck, I gotta just do it.
I'm so happy you did it too.
If you haven't been there, shut the fuck up. But
Honestly,
the podcast
yes.
is if you haven't been there. So it's telling your stories, because so many people will tell you, you don't want to do that. You got to do this. And no. So
And
if
they've never fucking been there.
So check it out.
Yes.
If you haven't been there, shut the fuck up. And
I
if you
love
haven't
that.
been there, check it out. Go.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just because all the know-it-alls. That's how this name came about. A Zippo lighter. So before we go, I've told this on the podcast.
This is the most Western goodbye I've ever seen.
I keep talking. This is how I treat what?
Welp.
Well, so if you haven't been there, me and my brother were in Cambodia, and there was this Zippo lighter, right? And we were going to buy it, and it said Vietnam. If you haven't been there, shut the fuck up. And it was from the Vietnam War era, the Vietnam War, and it said that. And it just stuck with me, and it stuck with him, and we should have bought it.
That.
And it says, that's why I named the podcast, if you haven't been there, because so many times people do that, or they're like, they talk about like what they know, but they don't fucking know shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about real experiences.
Yep.
Real, not what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to live my life with what ifs. So if you haven't been there, shut the fuck up. All right. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for having me on.